remember this one session where I was working with a group of dementia adults, and quite a few of them actually couldn't speak at all, and by the end of the session they were all singing and they had pretty much all of the words, and it was absolutely amazing. You could see in their faces how much they were appreciating it and how much they were enjoying it, and the difference when they came into the session to when they left was enormous.
One guy was on a wheelchair. He had profound moderate lung disabilities. He couldn't speak, but he had an iPad, and he showed me some emotions, and then he started to show me some colors as well. So I improvised some lyrics using what some of the children said, and every time I was using his words, I was looking at him, and he had this massive smile, and he was singing with us in a way without singing and contributing to the songwriting. And for me as a songwriter and as a singer, it was just this incredible moment of being able to sort of give a voice to somebody who doesn't have a voice, you know? So that was one of my favorites.
Different amazing breakthroughs from early on in schemes, working with children with very profound and multiple learning difficulties, and even having just a child move a little bit, and it being, I had a principal weeping at a breakthrough with a kid, and then I got to do a whole year project and really had an amazing connection with an ASD student who really had a lot of communication difficulties, and by the end we were like laughing and amazing eye contact, and discovered a really amazing musical talent in him, and he's gone on to have music lessons and really has flourished, and partly I might be responsible for that, so that's very exciting.
We've been working in a care home and writing songs with the residents there, and it was wonderful to hear the different stories. We were bringing out stories of holidays, days gone by, and it was beautiful stories that we're hearing. One particular story from a lady about her and her friend, who are both midwives, and they spent much of their adult life together. They lived together in a house, and then they moved into the care home together, living opposite each other in the care home. Sadly, one of them died about a year ago, and it was, I think it was cathartic to be able to bring that story together in a song, to share it with the other residents and to sing about it. There were tears, there were lots and lots of smiles as they remembered each other, and so I think that made a difference. It made a difference to the lady in question. It made a difference to us as we experienced that story and enjoyed that story, and also to the other residents. And there are lots and lots of stories like that I could share.
I've done many schools, especially schools, and every time that I go to school is a different experience, and and we always have a wonderful reception, and at the end of the day is what we do and what we share with the people that is important.
I was working in a care home, and one of the people who lived there was very sort of withdrawn within herself, and we'd actually met her husband on the first time, and he'd been talking a bit to her and a bit to us, and she was really kind of she wasn't speaking to him and she wasn't speaking to us, and she seemed very kind of withdrawn, and but what happened just through the music, I'm not sure whether she actually sung words, but she sung notes, and so my colleague Simon would play a note on the accordion and she would sing that note, so she would match that pitch, which is a difficult skill anyway, and that kind of level of, it was absolutely obvious that she was completely engaged with it, and the people who were working in the care home were just sort of, they thought it was incredible because, I think a lot of the time we're used to talking to people with words, and even if they're not responding, maybe we still talk to them and say, oh, how are you, and here's some food for you, or whatever, and perhaps we don't often think of other ways of connecting with people, and so I think they were amazed that there was still that possibility to connect with her.
And I recognize one of the people, the students that we had in the past, and I asked the carer if I could help, and I did beatboxing. So when I started to do a beat rhythm, she stopped crying. Then second, when I started to do trumpet sound, she came to me and touched my mouth to see where the sound was coming from. And the carers, I remember, was telling me, yeah, there's nothing to do because she's non-verbal. But he was surprised to see through the sounds, it was possible to recreate another kind of communication in different way. So I began to teach to the carers how to do sounds to recreate another kind of communication, just to calm down. So that was something that marked me.